Hi Pisces, welcome to your week ahead tarot with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, these readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant signs. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign Pisces, this is for you. And remember to check out all three so that you know which part of you I resonate with most as a reader. Remember, they're general readings. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody. That is just fine. Always use your own discernment. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So, for your key to the week, this week you have... Ooh, okay. The cards have spoken. Boom! Your ruler that, sorry, I just blew someone's eardrums out. For you, this, you've got the Wheel of Fortune, right? So this is a change point. I know a lot of you have had some really crazy upheavals. There's been problems and issues with home, with car, with water damage. All kinds of crazy stuff has been happening for my Pisceans. And I know you guys have been under it. But look, you have the Wheel of Fortune. Things are starting to improve. This is where you're going to see an upswing, right? The challenges that you've had have all been leading you to this point. Now, I'm not going to say that money's going to suddenly start raining from the sky and Jason Momoa is going to start knocking on the door. If he does, please, you know, give me a shout. Right, but you are seeing a change point here. You are seeing things move, change and adapt. So I love this. Remember, the Wheel of Fortune is luck, it's success, it's abundance. It's also the fruits of the labors you've already put in. And it very often sees us in the right place at the right time. For your actions and options, you've got the Tower card, right? So I know all of you are like, really, Raph? Well, now we've got the Tower. What are we going to do with that? Well, the Tower card with the Wheel of Fortune shows up in a couple of ways. One, this could literally, right? This could literally be some kind of really great news, the Wheel of Fortune, that comes in that you're like, oh my gosh, but it comes so suddenly or like as a complete disruption that you're like, shit, I don't really know what to do with this. There's a few ways this will show up, right? I've seen this combination show up for people that get their dream job, but it requires a move halfway around the world. I've seen this combination show up for people that have, one lady I read for, actually, she had these two. She had the Empress and she had the Ace of Cups. She was pregnant. She didn't even know it. Well, I think she was like 3 or 4 months gone, right, at this point. So there you go, right? So sometimes it can be something really wonderful, but it's like it's a complete disruption. Now you've got this in your actions and options, which means that something you are doing this week is a little bit drastic, all right? So, I mean, look, you got it with the Wheel of Fortune, so you've got some divine protection here, but I will say it's unlike you guys to be, reckless. Now, in terms of the options that are available to you, the option to go in a completely different direction shows up. And I think for a lot of you, you're going to jump in. Then you have the Seven of Wands in your communications and conversations. So somebody around you, I don't think it's necessarily that this person is a naysayer, but somebody around you, you could be getting some kind of resistance from your communications, right? So if someone in your circle is saying like, oh, why are you making that move? It's really rash, it's really drastic, it's really, whatever, yeah. And there's a part of you that's like, oh, maybe it is. But then there's also a part of you that knows that whatever you're doing, it's right for you. And that's what matters here. Now, the Seven of Wands is a battle. It's a challenge. It's where you have the high ground. So I always say to my clients with the Seven of Wands, stick to your guns, right? You got to stick to it. No matter how tough it is, you've got to hold it out. Now, the Tower card is number 16. 1 and 6 gives you 7. Seven of Wands is obviously the number 7. 2 sevens represents news. So this is some piece of information that comes in this week that is potentially very disrupting. It could be, let's say you get offered another job, right? And, your partner's like, well, I don't know if that's a good idea. Or maybe a friend, like maybe you take a different job in a completely different industry. So maybe you stay in the same place, but it's a job with a completely different company in a completely different place. And you're like, everyone's like, dude, this is like a really drastic move. Like, why are you doing this? And then in your back of your mind and your intuition, the Wheel of Fortune is saying, this is what I have ordained for you. This is what I'm giving you, right? So You got to fight for it. If you're studying or in some form of academia, you might need to defend. For some of you, this might be your right to study. For others, this might be that you need to defend why you get the funding that you're, applying for or reapplying for. For some of you, for those of you that are employed by somebody else, this I actually look with these two cards, it could be a challenge, but you've got the mitigating factor that is the Wheel of Fortune, which basically says maybe you get offered a position, maybe you get a pay rise. There's something that you get here that is going to be, it's going to be an unpopular choice with some of your colleagues, and it's like, you know what, yes, we're colleagues, yes, we're on a team, all the rest of it, but this has nothing to do with me. At the end of the day, I can't say no to opportunities to get ahead in my work and my life just because it affects, or it affects somebody else's feelings, right? Like, this is not about that. Pisces, you guys are so self-sacrificing. It's time for that shit to come to an end, all right? Now, for those of you that are business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, people that work for themselves, I would, if you're a business owner and you work for yourself, I would be open to any and all negotiations this week, especially ones that come from spaces that you either wouldn't usually go or from clients that you would usually not accept. I'm not saying lower your standards. I'm not saying do things that are unethical. What I am saying is be open to considerations that you would usually say no to, because the chances are they could actually be very beneficial for you further down the line. For those of you that are retired and no longer working, this is you putting your foot down with a family member. When it comes to your familial ties or even things that you do on a vocational level, you might find, for some of you as well, you're suddenly really good at something that you haven't been doing for very long. Whenever that happens, I always see it as a past, like a past life experience. So, because there's some things that I do, like even for myself, there's some things that I do that I'm like, I don't ever remember learning this, but I always have memories and like things will just pop up or they'll just naturally occur to me. And I've seen this in other people and for their lives as well. Like, this happens a lot. When someone is naturally very good at something instantly, it's because they've done it in a past life. I knew, so when I was studying with Adam Ellenbass, when I was studying astrology, there's a wonderful lady there called, oh my God, Delia. I think she's still, I don't know if she's still his assistant, but she was his assistant. She became his assistant, and it's because she was so bloody good at it. And this is bearing in mind, she'd never studied astrology before, but when I say like she hit the ground running like a duck to water, she just absolutely blew us all away because we were like, damn, like she was just, it's incredible. I've seen this happen. So very often when that's that instantly good at something, you might draw some flack for it, but fuck the haters. What else are they there to do? The clue's in the name, right? So then you've got okay, interesting. For those of you that are for those of you that are partnered, married, or in long-term commitments. I had a complete brain blank then. Sorry about that. I do want to mention your year ahead Astro Tarot scopes are up and out there for your purchasing pleasure. You can get those on the link in the description box below. Your New Year, New Frequency Energy Work mini course is also up and out there. You can grab this, it will take you maybe 3 to 4 days to complete, but I promise you there's nothing else like this out there. If you like energy work, if you really want to get the most out of your sun sign, this is something that you are absolutely going to love, and it will really set you up for 2024 in ways that you can't fathom just yet. Now, for the love and relations, for those of you that are partnered, married, or in long-term commitments, what do you see here? 7 of Wands, Tower card, 16-7, Chariot card, 7, right? So technically you have 3 sevens. 3 sevens represents infirmity. So I do want to say, when it comes to your loved one, a partner, your significant other, their health, touch wood, I hope I'm wrong, but their health could take a real dip this week. So you might really need to look after them or to be there for them in some way. The other thing is, this speeds, the Chariot card speeds everything up, right? So I am going to say, when it comes to your relationship, it might get a little bit rocky this week. There's no getting around it, right? Wheel of Fortune or no Wheel of Fortune. Right place, right time kind of stuff. Now, for those of you that are single and looking, this could be that you meet somebody or reconnect with somebody, possibly reconnect, but you meet somebody or you connect with somebody that is... they might be going through a physical health journey, right? So you might meet them when they are, you know, just on the mend after having, touch wood, like a really bad car accident, or maybe you meet them when they are, you know, just coming off the end of their chemo journey. You could meet someone whose health is really bad, but you're like, I don't see any of that. All I see is you. So, you know, keep that as a consideration. All right, now, finally, for your money and materials, you have the Six of Swords. So your finances and your money are improving this week, and potentially quite drastically. There's something about this that suggests it's like your finances improve, but it's almost like overnight. It might come with some kind of sort of big consideration or thought process, but I actually think this could be really nice for you. When it comes to the Six of Swords as well, remember this is a travel and a movement card. You've got this with the Chariot and you've got it with the Wheel of Fortune. So this week, I will say you might need to travel this week unexpectedly. You may need to be on hand or take a trip or a journey of some sort. It very unexpectedly. It's almost like it happens and you're just like, shit, okay, I need to go, I need to do this. So keep that as a consideration. When it comes to your physical health and vitality, this represents health improving, as in your specific health improving. What it also speaks to as well is your nervous system. So there's something here that's going to set your teeth on edge. I'm sorry to say. All right, but you know, we got to call a spade a spade. And then finally, when it comes to your home and environment, it looks like a lot of you won't be spending much time at home this week. There's obviously something going on because it's like you're displaced for some reason. You're spending time elsewhere for some reason. And for those of you that have had problems, challenges, or disputes of any sorts, this week you will see them start to ease. But it's potentially like it comes to an ease for like a really shocking reason. I almost feel like something's going to go like this. It all reaches a head this week in some way, but it clears the path for you to move forward. All right. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Look after yourself. Take care, and I'll speak to you soon.